started writing songs for Death Valley Paradise towards the end of 2019. We just finished the Light It Up tour, and when I started writing, everything was just coming out a little bit heavier, and I was jamming with the guys, and just the energy when we got in the room, just everything was just, you know, just all had more balls. Even when we were jamming like the older stuff, everything was coming out heavier. And, you know, I'd probably written about 5-6 songs, and I kind of sat back and was like, talking it over with Josiah, and was like, maybe this is a bit too heavy. This isn't kind of what we've been doing. But, you know, I've been influenced by rock music since an early age. It's what got me into guitar playing in the first place. Yes, I love the blues stuff, but, you know, classic rock throughout my younger years, and, you know, more metal stuff in my teens. That's always been a big part of my life and my musical influence, and it was just coming out. And I kind of took a step back and was like, hold on, this is a bit too much. And then I was trying to force myself to write some more like bluesy things, and it just wasn't feeling natural. It was just like, it felt forced, and it just didn't sound right. And I ended up speaking to the record label Mascot Records, and they were fully supportive of, you know, going in a heavier direction. And, you know, once I kind of felt that pressure, you know, released, and I was kind of like let off my reins, felt good to just be able to just write what I, you know, wanted to write. Vocal melody wise, guitar wise, I kind of felt like I could touch upon areas that I hadn't done before. You know, there's certain guitar techniques or licks I might play that you just couldn't play in something that was considered blues rock. Death Valley Paradise actually started life as a song. It was one of those first songs that I wrote that was one of the heavier ones. It's since been dissected and chopped up and put into different songs across the album. But the title was something that kind of resonated with me. You know, Death Valley, place in the States, desert, it's supposed to be a place where no living thing can survive. And like Paradise was about kind of having to find a way to survive, and not just survive, but to be happy in a place where you're not actually meant to survive. So obviously COVID affected everyone. It hit musicians, and me in particular, pretty hard. We had tours cancelled. We had a whole year's worth of stuff planned in 2020 that got, you know, pushed aside and cancelled. And if I had to take any positive out of it, it was that I actually had time to sit down and write songs. I was always so hectic with touring, always on the road, that it was actually quite hard to find the time to sit down and actually write songs. I've never been one to write too much on the road, because when I'm touring, I kind of like to focus on the shows, and all my focus and energy goes into that night's performance. So actually having, you know, a solid amount of time at home where I could just sit down and write songs was actually really beneficial. And some of the songs ended up being rewritten 5 or 6 times before we got to the final point. And I think maybe if I didn't have that time, it would have probably got to number 2, maybe number 3 if I was lucky, and we would have probably been happy with that. But it meant I was really able to like hone in and refine things, and it gave me an opportunity to do some co-writing too, which is something that I haven't really done before. I ended up, through the record label, being hooked up with some guys in the States, some top songwriters that were written with loads of like legendary rock bands. And it was just an amazing experience for me. I'd get together with these guys on Zoom, and we'd exchange ideas, and they were just really good at bringing out the best in me. The guys I worked with completely got where I was coming from, what I was doing, and you know, they were completely on the same page. And you know, I've made some great friendships out of it, and we had some great results. When the opportunity came up to work with a legendary producer like Dan Weller, we were just super excited. From the very first phone conversation I had with Dan, I just knew we were just on the same page. Everything he was saying, we ended up chatting for about an hour and a half, you know, just over like 3 or 4 song demos that he'd had. And all his ideas were exactly what we had in mind, and our vision for the album. And you know, Josiah's obviously been our producer and my right-hand man for years with the band, and he's a big fan of Dan's work, so it was a great opportunity for him to actually just be a band member and not have to worry about sitting behind a desk and twiddling dials. He could actually just be a band member and contribute his ideas with the songs, rather than having to, you know, have the full-on producer brain on. We recorded at Vada Studios in Worcester. It's an amazing place, big like country manor house with 11th century chapel on the side, which actually forms a live room. And you've actually got like a cemetery. The live room's pretty much on top of buried bodies. There's like plaques on the wall, so you're doing your vocal takes, and I remember reading some of the plaques. You got like a 17th century Navy admiral buried underneath you, and there's something about that character of a building like that that really just brings out something, you know. And it was, for us, it was the first ever time going away and just recording. You know, normally we'd have other stuff, we'd be maybe recording in the day, but then we'd be doing things in the evening or going home and things like that. But as a band, as a unit, we were away, you know, solidly for a good couple of weeks, few weeks, just concentrating on the album. And that was just great, like, for creativity, coming up with ideas. Now, I know every artist says it with their latest album, and I've said it with every album I've done. But I guess that's, you know, you're always wanting to improve. But I do believe Death Valley Paradise is the best album yet. The time that was spent on the songwriting, the guys involved, we were all just on the same page. Everything just felt right. I'm super excited for people to hear this album. You know, a lot of blood, sweat and tears has gone into it. And I really hope that people enjoy and get where we're coming from with it.